When you lose money, you feel it. It stings. You think about it for days. But when someone takes an hour of your time, an hour you will never, ever get back, you shrug. You move on. Why? That money you can earn again. That hour, gone. Forever. Yet people walk up to you every single day and take your time like it costs nothing, and you let them. Now here is what nobody tells you. When you finally say no, when you finally refuse to give away pieces of your life, they will call you selfish, and you will believe them. You will feel the guilt hit your chest. You will question yourself. But stop. Stop right now and reevaluate this with me. That person, the one calling you selfish, what did they actually do? Maybe they gave you a coffee once. Maybe they helped you with something small you never even asked for. They invested $10 worth of effort into you. And now, they want $100 worth of your time, your energy, your knowledge, your car ride to the airport, your hours, your life in return. You never signed that contract. You never agreed to that exchange. But the moment you refuse, suddenly you are the selfish one? No. Flip it. Look at the situation clearly. They approached you. They asked for something you possess. They want something from you, for themselves. So tell me, how exactly are you the selfish one? They are. They are the ones with the agenda. You are just protecting what is yours. And let me tell you something I have noticed. The people who throw the word selfish at you, there is a pattern. They are hollow, empty of direction, empty of purpose, empty of time and value and energy. They have nothing real going on in their own life, so they reach for a piece of yours. Meanwhile, every person between 25 and 50 has 4 or 5 urgent things pending right now. Everyone is stretched. Everyone is running their own race. Your time is not a public resource. Think about this. In Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, you get 3 or 4 lifelines. Not 10. Not unlimited. 3 or 4. And you save them for the hardest questions, for the moments that truly matter, for the people who truly matter. Not for every stranger in the audience who raises their hand. Your energy works the same way. And here is the final truth that will set you free. If you say yes just to avoid conflict, and then you cannot deliver, you are no longer just selfish in their eyes. Now you are also a liar. But when you say no clearly, up front, without drama, at least you keep your honesty. At least your word still means something. So if someone calls you selfish today, understand this. You are on the right track. Because if you will not protect your time, your energy, your mental health, your body, no one else is coming to do it for you. That is not selfishness. That is survival. That is self-respect. And that is what this audiobook will teach you to build, one no at a time. Let me ask you a question. When was the last time you lost money? Maybe you overpaid for something. Maybe you got hit with a surprise bill. Maybe someone borrowed $50 and never paid you back. How did that feel? It stung, didn't it? You thought about it for days. You replayed it in your head. You felt the loss. You talked about it. You remembered it. Now let me ask you another question. When was the last time someone wasted an hour of your life? Someone who called you to vent about nothing. Someone who dragged you into a meeting that should have been an email. Someone who showed up unannounced and stole your afternoon. How long did you think about that? 5 minutes? 10? Or did you just shrug and move on? Here is the brutal truth you need to understand right now. That money you lost, you can earn it again. Next week, next month, next year. You can pick up an extra shift. You can save a little more. You can make it back. But that hour is gone. Forever. It is never coming back. You will never live that hour again. You traded a piece of your actual life and you got nothing in return. Money returns. Time never does. Let that sink in. Money returns. Time never does. You can replace dollars. You cannot replace minutes. Yet somehow you guard your wallet more carefully than you guard your calendar. You will argue over $5 at the grocery store, but you will give away 2 hours to someone who does not even respect you. Why? Because you have been taught that saying no to people is rude. You have been taught that your time is flexible. You have been taught that being available is a virtue. It is not. It is self-destruction in slow motion. Every single day, people are taking your time like it costs nothing. They take your hours like loose change. A quick phone call that turns into 40 minutes. A favor that spirals into a whole afternoon. A commitment you never wanted but felt pressured to accept. And you let it happen because you think it is small. You think it does not matter. You think 1 hour here and there is no big deal. But add it up. Add up all the small yeses. Add up all the interruptions. Add up all the people who walked into your day uninvited and walked out with a piece of your life. How many hours did you give away this month? 10? 20? 50? Those are not just hours. Those are pieces of your life you will never, ever get back. They take your hours like loose change, and you hand them over without even asking what you are getting in return. Now here is what you need to understand. These people, these time leeches, they are not evil. They are not trying to destroy you. They are just operating by a simple rule. If you let them take, they will take. If you do not protect your time, someone else will claim it. If you do not say no, they will assume yes. And before you know it, your entire week belongs to other people. Look at your calendar right now. Look at your last 7 days. Where did your time actually go? How much of it was spent on things you chose, things you valued, things that moved your life forward? And how much of it was spent on other people's priorities, other people's emergencies, other people's chaos? Be honest. Your calendar is not lying. Your calendar is a perfect mirror of what you actually value, whether you want to admit it or not. And if your calendar is full of other people's needs, then you have trained the world to treat your time like it is worthless. Every yes costs you something you cannot earn back. Say that out loud. Every yes costs you something you cannot earn back. When you say yes to that extra project at work, you are saying no to your rest. When you say yes to the friend who only calls when they need something, you are saying no to your peace. When you say yes to scrolling, to checking, to refreshing, you are saying no to focus, to clarity, to progress. You are making trades, and most of the time, you are getting a terrible deal. Here is the shift you need to make right now. Start measuring every request in time, not in effort. Stop thinking, oh, it is just a quick favor. Start thinking, this is 30 minutes of my life I will never get back. Stop thinking, I should help because they asked. Start thinking, does this person, this task, this moment actually deserve a piece of my life? Because that is what you are giving. Not a favor, not effort, not inconvenience. You are giving away pieces of your actual, limited, never coming back life. And the question you must ask every single time is this: does this deserve my life? Does this deserve my life? Most of the time, the answer is no. Most requests do not pass that test. Most people asking for your time have not earned it. Most interruptions are not emergencies. Most things that feel urgent are just someone else's poor planning becoming your problem. And when you start seeing it clearly, when you start measuring every ask in terms of life, not effort, you'll be shocked at how much you have been giving away for free. Here is an example. Someone messages you at 9 p.m. They need advice. They need to talk. They need your input on something that has nothing to do with you. Your first instinct is to reply, to be helpful, to be kind. But stop. What are you actually trading? You are trading your evening, your rest, your mental space, your preparation for tomorrow. You are giving them a piece of your life that you are going to spend recharging. And what are they giving you? A problem, a burden, a conversation that will drain you and leave you staring at the ceiling at midnight. Is that a fair trade? No. Does this deserve my life? No. So what do? You say no. Not tomorrow. Not with a long explanation. You just do not engage. You protect your time like it actually matters. Because it does. Every yes costs you something you cannot earn back. Now let me tell you what happens when you start thinking this way. You will feel guilt. You will feel selfish. You will feel like you are letting people down. Good. That discomfort is proof that you are breaking a bad habit. That guilt is not truth. It is just your old programming trying to pull you back into being everyone's emergency contact. But here is the truth. You are not responsible for other people's poor planning. You are not required to be available every time someone has a need. You are not a public resource. You are a human being with limits, and those limits are not suggestions. They are survival. Your time is the only non-renewable resource you have. You can make more money. You can rebuild relationships. You can learn new skills. But you cannot make more time. Every day you get 24 hours. That is it. And every hour you give to something that does not matter is an hour stolen from something that does. Money returns. Time never does. So here is your first assignment. Go through your last week. Look at every commitment, every conversation, every interruption. Ask yourself, did this deserve a piece of my life? Be ruthless. Be honest. And then make a list of the time leeches, the people, the habits, the obligations that are taking your hours and giving you nothing in return. Then start saying no. Not next month, not when it is convenient. Now. Start protecting your time like your life depends on it. Because it does. Your future, your health, your peace, your progress, all of it is built on how you spend your hours. And if you keep giving them away to people who do not value them, you will wake up one day and realize you spent your entire life serving someone else's agenda. Do not let that happen. Your time is not loose change. Your hours are not up for grabs. Your life is not a public resource. Treat your time like the priceless, non-renewable treasure it actually is. Because money returns, time never does. And once you truly understand that, everything changes. Chapter 2. The Selfish Accusation. Here is what is going to happen the moment you start saying no. Someone is going to call you selfish. And when they do, that word is going to hit you right in the chest. You are going to feel it. You are going to doubt yourself. You are going to wonder if maybe they are right. Maybe you are being selfish. Maybe you should have just said yes. Maybe you are a bad person for protecting your time. Stop. Stop right there. Because that feeling, that guilt, that doubt, it is a trap. And I need you to see it clearly before it pulls you back into the same pattern that has been draining your life for years. Let me walk you through what actually just happened. Someone approached you. They asked you for something. Maybe it was your time. Maybe it was your knowledge. Maybe it was a ride to the airport. Maybe it was free advice. Maybe it was an hour of your evening to listen to their problems. Whatever it was, they came to you. They wanted something. You said no. And now they are calling you selfish. But let me ask you a very simple question. Who approached who? They approached you. Who wanted something? They did. Who asked for a piece of your life? They did. Who had the agenda? They did. So tell me, how exactly are you the selfish one? They wanted something. You just refused. Read that again. They wanted something. You just refused. That is all that happened. They had a desire. They had a need. They had a request. And you declined. That is not selfishness. That is a decision. That is a boundary. That is you saying, I am not available for this. And the fact that they are upset does not mean you did anything wrong. It just means they did not get what they wanted. Now here is where it gets even clearer. Let me show you the game they are playing, whether they realize it or not. At some point in the past, they did something small for you. Maybe they bought you a coffee. Maybe they gave you a ride once. Maybe they helped you move a box. Maybe they listened to you vent for 10 minutes. Something small. Something you might not have even asked for. Something that, in the moment, felt like kindness. But here is what they actually did. They invested $10. $10 worth of time, effort, or money. And now, weeks or months later, they are back. And they are not asking for $10 in return. They are asking for $100. $100 worth of your time. $100 worth of your energy. $100 worth of your knowledge, your labor, your attention, your life. A $10 gift does not buy a $100 return. Let that land. A $10 gift does not buy a $100 return. You never signed a contract that said, if you buy me coffee once, I owe you 3 hours of my Saturday. You never agreed to that exchange. You never asked them to invest in you so they could cash out later. But that is exactly what they are doing. They gave you something small, something you did not request, and now they are acting like you owe them something massive in return. And when you refuse to pay that debt, a debt you never agreed to, they call you selfish. Do you see it now? Do you see how backwards this is? They are the ones with the agenda. They are the ones asking for something. They are the ones trying to turn a $10 gesture into a $100 withdrawal from your life. And you are supposed to feel guilty for saying no? No. Flip the script. Flip it right now. If someone approaches you and asks you for something you possess, your time, your money, your knowledge, your car, your energy, and you say no, you are not the selfish one. They are. Because they are the ones who want something from you for themselves. They are the ones with their hand out. They are the ones making the demand. You are just protecting what is yours. You are not selfish for protecting what is yours. Say it again. You are not selfish for protecting what is yours. Your time belongs to you. Your energy belongs to you. Your knowledge, your resources, your peace, it all belongs to you. And you have every right to decide who gets access and who does not. That is not cruelty. That is not coldness. That is self-respect. Now let me show you exactly how this plays out in real life, because I want you to see this pattern so clearly that you can never unsee it. Let's say you have a coworker. A few months ago, they covered a shift for you. You did not beg them to do it. You did not promise them anything in return. They offered and you accepted. Fine. But now they come to you every single week asking you to take on extra work, asking you to stay late, asking you to help them with projects that are not your responsibility. And every time you hesitate, they bring up that one shift. But I helped you that one time. That is the $10 investment demanding a $100 return. And the moment you say no, you are selfish. Or maybe it is a friend who helped you move into your apartment 3 years ago. And now they call you constantly. They need rides, they need money, they need you to drop everything and listen to their drama. And if you are not available, if you say you are busy, if you try to set a boundary, they throw that moving day in your face. I was there for you when you needed me. That is the $10 gift trying to buy your whole notebook. Or maybe it is family. A family member who gave you a small favor once, and now they treat your time like public property. They show up unannounced. They expect you to rearrange your schedule for them. They guilt you, manipulate you, and when you finally stand up for yourself, they say, after everything I have done for you, $10, demanding $100, over and over and over again. And here is what you need to understand. Most of the time, they do not even realize they are doing it. They genuinely believe you owe them. They genuinely believe that one small gesture earned them unlimited access to your life. They think they made a deposit, and now they get to make withdrawals forever. But that is not how it works. That is not how respect works. That is not how boundaries work. A coffee does not buy your calendar. A ride does not buy your evenings. A favor does not buy your future. And you do not owe anyone access to your life just because they were kind to you once. You are not selfish for protecting what is yours. Now let me take this one step further, because I want you to see the full picture. Even someone in a position of power, a boss, a mentor, a wealthy contact, someone with influence, is not going to hand you a massive opportunity just because you gave them a pen or a coffee mug or a compliment. You cannot give someone a $10 gesture and expect them to change your life in return. It does not work that way for you, and it should not work that way for them either. So why do you let people treat you like it does? Why do you let someone guilt you with a tiny investment and act like you owe them everything? You would never do that to someone else. You would never buy someone lunch once and then demand they give you free consulting for the next 6 months. You would never help someone move and then expect them to be on call for you forever. You know that would be ridiculous. You know that would be manipulative. So why do you accept it when they do it to you? Because you have been taught that saying no makes you a bad person. You have been taught that protecting yourself is selfish. You have been taught that if someone gives you something, anything, you owe them. And that teaching has been weaponized against you your entire life. But today, that ends. Today, you see it clearly. The person calling you selfish is the one who approached you with a demand. The person calling you selfish is the one who wants something from you for themselves. The person calling you selfish is the one trying to trade a coffee for your entire Saturday. They wanted something. You just refused. That is all that happened. And their reaction, the guilt trip, the anger, the cold shoulder, the accusation, that is not proof you were wrong. That is proof they did not get their way. That is proof the boundary worked. So when someone calls you selfish, I want you to pause. I want you to reevaluate the entire situation with fresh eyes. Ask yourself, who approached who? Who wanted something? Who had the agenda? Who is trying to take and who is trying to protect? And once you see it clearly, once you see that you are not the selfish one, you will feel something shift inside you. The guilt will start to fade. The doubt will start to crack. And in its place, something stronger will grow. Self-respect, clarity, power. Because you are not selfish for protecting what is yours. You are awake. You are aware. You are done being manipulated by people who give you 10 and demand 100. From now on, when someone calls you selfish, you will know the truth. That word is not an insult. It is a confession. It is them admitting they wanted something from you and did not get it. And that is their problem, not yours. You are not selfish for protecting what is yours. You are just finally learning what yours actually means. Chapter 3. Stop explaining yourself. Here is the mistake you keep making. Every single time you say no, you follow it with a paragraph. You say no, and then you immediately start explaining why. You build a case. You list your reasons. You apologize. You justify. You overshare. You turn a simple boundary into a negotiation. And that is exactly why people keep pushing you. Because the moment you explain, you open a door. You signal that your no is not final. You signal that if they can just poke enough holes in your reasons, if they can just make you feel guilty enough, if they can just argue hard enough, you will fold. And so they do. They argue, they guilt, they push, and you end up in a 15-minute conversation defending a decision you already made. Stop. Stop explaining. Stop defending. Stop turning your boundaries into debates. No is a complete sentence, and the moment you understand that, everything changes. Explain less, decide more. Let me show you what happens when you over-explain. Let's say someone asks you to work this weekend. You do not want to. You have plans. You need rest. You have already given enough of your time this week. So you say, I cannot work this weekend because I have family plans, and I have been really tired, and I just need some time to recharge. Now, what did you just do? You gave them 3 reasons, which means you just gave them 3 things to argue with. And here is exactly what they will say. Can't you move your family plans? You can rest on Sunday. We are all tired. This is important. And now you are stuck. You are backpedaling. You are trying to defend your rest. You are trying to prove that your reasons are valid, and with every sentence, you sound less sure. You sound like someone who can be convinced. You sound weak. That is what over-explaining does. It makes you look uncertain. It makes you look like someone who does not really mean it, and people can smell that uncertainty from a mile away. They know that if they just push a little harder, you will break. Short is strong, long is weak. Now let me show you the other way. Same situation. Someone asks you to work this weekend. You do not want to, so you say, "No, I'm not available." That is it. That is the whole sentence. No long story, no list of reasons, no apology. Just a calm, clear, final answer. And here is what happens. They might push once. "Are you sure? We really need you." And you repeat. Same words, same tone. "I'm not available." Now what can they argue with? Nothing. You did not give them anything to grab onto. You did not give them a reason to dismantle. You did not open a negotiation. You just stated a fact. You are not available. End of conversation. That is the power of a short no. It ends the discussion before it starts. It protects your decision without giving them ammunition to fight back. Explain less, decide more. But here is what is going to happen inside your head the first time you try this. You are going to feel rude. You are going to feel like you owe them more. You are going to feel like a short answer makes you a bad person, a cold person, someone who does not care. That feeling is lying to you. You are not being rude. You are being clear. You are not being cold. You are being respectful of your own time. You are not being a bad person. You are being someone who has finally learned that your decisions do not require a defense. Because here is the truth. When you say yes, you do not explain. You do not say, "Yes, I will help you move, and here are 5 reasons why I am saying yes, and let me tell you my entire thought process." No, you just say yes, and no one questions it. No one asks you to justify it. No one demands to know why. So why do you think no requires a dissertation? It does not. No is just as valid as yes. No is just as complete as yes. And the moment you start treating it that way, people will stop treating your boundaries like suggestions. Say it once, mean it forever. Now let me give you the exact script you need. I want you to memorize these. I want you to practice these until they come out of your mouth automatically, without thought, without hesitation, without guilt. No, I cannot. That does not work for me. I am not available. I am going to pass. I cannot help with that. That is it. 5 sentences. Short, calm, clear. No drama, no apology, no explanation. These are your default responses from now on, and I want you to notice something about all of them. None of them are mean. None of them are aggressive. None of them are rude. They are just honest. And honesty does not need a paragraph. Here is what you need to understand. The more you explain, the weaker you feel. Every word you add to your no drains a little bit of your power. Because deep down, you know you are trying to convince them. You are trying to make them okay with your decision. You are trying to manage their feelings. And that is not your job. Your job is to make the decision. Their job is to handle their reaction. And when you take on their job, when you try to explain and justify and apologize your way into their approval, you lose. You lose your power. You lose your clarity. You lose your boundary. The more you explain, the weaker you feel. Let me give you a real-world example. You have a friend who constantly asks for favors. Rides, money, help with projects, time, energy. You have helped them before, but you are done. You are tapped out. They call you again. They need a ride to the airport. Early morning, an hour away. You do not want to do it. Old you would say, "I really wish I could, but I've been so busy lately, and I've not been sleeping well, and my car has been making a weird noise, and I have so much to do tomorrow, and I just do not think I can make it work." Hear how that sounds? You are begging. You are hoping they will let you off the hook. You are giving them a dozen reasons, so maybe, just maybe, one of them will be good enough for them to stop asking. But they will not stop. They will say, "It is fine, I'll buy you coffee. You can sleep in the car on the way back. Your car will be fine. Just this once, please." And now you are trapped. Because you gave them all those reasons, and they just knocked every single one down. And now if you still say no, you look like you were lying. You look like you just did not want to help. which, by the way, is the truth. But instead of just saying that from the start, you tried to hide behind excuses, and now you look weak and dishonest. New you says, I cannot give you a ride. That is it. They push. Why not? It does not work for me. But I really need this. I understand. I still cannot help. Notice what just happened. You did not get pulled into the weeds. You did not start listing reasons. You did not try to convince them that your no is valid. You just calmly repeated your boundary. And now they have two choices. Accept it or keep pushing. But either way, you are not moving. That is what a short no does. It keeps you anchored. It keeps you clear. It keeps you in control. Say it once, mean it forever. Now here is the part most people miss. When you stop explaining, you also stop lying. Because let's be honest, half the reasons you give when you say no are not even true. You say you are busy when you are not. You say you are sick when you are fine. You say you have plans when your plan is to sit on the couch and do nothing. And you do this because you think the truth, I just do not want to, is not a good enough reason. But it is. I do not want to is a completely valid reason. You do not owe people your time just because you happen to be free. You do not owe people your energy just because you are capable. You are allowed to say no just because you do not want to say yes. And when you stop explaining, you stop lying. You stop making up excuses. You stop spinning stories. You just state your decision and let it stand. And that honesty, that clarity, that is what builds real self-respect. Because every time you lie to avoid conflict, you lose a piece of yourself. Every time you make up an excuse instead of stating your truth, you teach yourself that your real reasons are not good enough. You teach yourself that you need permission to protect your life. And that is a lie that will drain you from the inside out. Short is strong, long is weak. So here is your assignment for this chapter. The next time someone asks you for something you do not want to give, practice a short no. Do not explain, do not justify, do not apologize. Just say one of the 5 scripts I gave you. Say it calmly, say it clearly, and then stop talking. Let the silence sit. Let them process. Let them be uncomfortable. That discomfort is not your responsibility to fix. Your only responsibility is to protect your decision. And when they push, and they will push, do not argue, do not defend. Just repeat. Same words, same tone. Like a calm, immovable wall. Because that is what you are becoming. Not someone who is mean, not someone who does not care, but someone who has finally learned that your no does not need a story. It just needs to be said. Explain less, decide more. Say it once, mean it forever. And watch what happens when you stop defending your boundaries and start simply holding them. Chapter 4. Your lifelines are limited. You know the game show Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? You sit in the hot seat, the questions get harder, the stakes get higher, and when you are stuck, when you do not know the answer, you have lifelines. Phone a friend, ask the audience, 50-50. But here is the thing, you do not get unlimited lifelines, you get 3, maybe 4, depending on the version. Not 10, not 20, 3 or 4. And you have to be smart about when you use them. You do not waste a lifeline on an easy question. You do not burn your phone a friend on question 2. You save them, you protect them. You use them only when it truly matters. Because once they are gone, and you are on your own. Your time works exactly the same way. You do not have unlimited lifelines. You do not have endless energy. You do not have infinite hours. You do not have a bottomless well of attention, patience, and care. You have limits, real limits. And if you keep spending your lifelines on every person who raises their hand, on every request that comes your way, on every small crisis that is not even yours, you will have nothing left when it actually matters. You do not have unlimited lifelines, so stop acting like you do. Here is what most people do. They treat their time and energy like a public resource, like anyone can walk up and take a piece. A coworker needs help, a friend needs advice, a relative needs a favor, a stranger on the internet needs a response, and they say yes to all of it. They spend their lifelines on question 2, question 5, question 8. They burn through their energy on people who have not earned it, on problems that are not theirs, on situations that do not matter. And then, when the real moment comes, when their kid needs them, when their health is failing, when their own dreams are suffocating under a pile of everyone else's demands, they have nothing left. They are tapped out, empty, running on fumes, and they wonder why. You spent your lifelines on strangers who raised their hand. Now let me tell you something that is going to sting, but you need to hear it. Every single person between the ages of 25 and 50 has 4 or 5 urgent things pending right now. Real things, important things. A project at work, a health issue, a relationship that needs attention, a goal they have been putting off, a problem they have been avoiding. Everyone is carrying something. Everyone is stretched. Everyone is running their own race, and that includes you. You have your own 4 or 5 urgent things, your own responsibilities, your own goals, your own life that needs your time and attention. So why are you treating your time like it belongs to everyone else? Your time is not charity. Let that land. Your time is not charity. It is not a public good. It is not something you owe to anyone who asks. Your time is your life. And your life is not up for donation just because someone else did not plan ahead, did not manage their own time, did not protect their own energy. You are not the fallback plan for everyone who runs out of their own lifelines. Here is the shift you need to make. You need to pre-decide who gets access to your lifelines and who does not. You need to decide right now, before the requests come, who is on your emergency list. Because if you wait until the moment someone asks, you will fold. You will feel the pressure, you will feel the guilt, and you will say yes when you should have said no. But if you decide in advance, if you create clear rules before the emotion hits, you will hold your ground. Decide once, follow always. So let me walk you through this. Right now, I want you to think about your life. Who are the 3 to 5 people who truly matter? Not the people who are just around, not the people who are loud, not the people who guilt you, the people who actually matter. Your spouse, your kids, your closest friend, maybe one parent, maybe a mentor who has genuinely invested in you over years, not someone who bought you coffee once and expects a $100 return.
Write those names down. Literally, write them down. These are the people who get your emergency lifelines. These are the people you will drop everything for. These are the people who have earned access to your time, your energy, your help when it truly matters. Everyone else? They do not get automatic access. They get considered. They get evaluated. They get a decision based on your capacity, your priorities, and your boundaries. But they do not get an automatic yes. You do not have unlimited lifelines, so stop giving them to people who have not earned them. Now here is the second part of this. You need to pre-decide your untouchable hours, the hours that are off limits, the hours that belong to you and no one else. Maybe it is your mornings. Maybe it is your evenings after 7. Maybe it is Sunday. Maybe it is the first hour of your workday. Whatever it is, you need to decide right now, these hours are mine. No meetings, no favors, no interruptions, no exceptions, unless it is a true emergency from one of the 3 to 5 people on your list. And then you protect those hours like your life depends on it, because it does. Decide once, follow always. When you decide once, you do not have to fight the same battle every single day. You do not have to debate with yourself every time someone asks. You do not have to wonder if you should say yes or no. You just refer back to your rule. I do not take calls after 7. I do not work on Sundays. I do not do last-minute favors. The decision is already made. You are just following through. This is how you protect your lifelines without burning out from constant decision fatigue. You set the rules in advance, and then you follow them. No matter who asks, no matter how they react, no matter how guilty you feel in the moment. Decide once, follow always. Now let me give you some real-world examples, because I want you to see exactly how this works. Let's say you decide that evenings after 6 belong to your family. No work, no phone calls, no emails. That is your rule. Then your boss messages you at 7 asking for a quick update. Old you would panic. Old you would respond immediately because you do not want to seem lazy or unavailable. But new you? New you refers back to the rule. I do not work after 6. You do not even have to say it out loud. You just do not respond until the next morning. Because the rule is already set. The decision is already made. Or let's say you decide that you only give rides to people on your emergency list. Then a casual acquaintance asks you to drive them across town. Old you would feel obligated. Old you would say yes because you happen to be free and you do not want to seem selfish. But new you? New you refers back to the rule. I do not give rides unless it is an emergency. You do not explain. You do not apologize. You just say, that does not work for me. Because the decision was already made. Or let's say you decide that you only help people move if they are in your top 5. Then a coworker you barely know asks you to help them move this weekend. Old you would feel pressured. Old you would say yes because you do not have a good excuse to say no. But new you? New you refers back to the rule. This person is not on the list. This is not your emergency. So you say, I am not available. Simple, clear, done. Decide once, follow always. Now here's what I need you to understand. This is not about being cold. This is not about not caring. This is about being smart with a limited resource. You do not have unlimited lifelines. You just do not. And if you keep pretending that you do, if you keep saying yes to everyone and everything, you will burn out. You will break down. You will wake up one day and realize you have nothing left for the people and the goals that actually matter. So you have to be selective. You have to be protective. You have to treat your time and energy like the rare, non-renewable resource it actually is. Your time is not charity. And here's the other piece of this that people do not talk about. When you start protecting your lifelines, when you start saying no to people who have not earned access, some of them are going to be upset. Some of them are going to call you selfish. Some of them are going to say, you have changed. And they are right. You have changed. You have stopped letting people treat your life like a public resource. And that change is not a problem. It is progress. Because the people who are mad that you have boundaries, they are the ones who benefited from you not having any. They are the ones who are taking your lifelines for free. And now that the free ride is over, they are upset. Let them be upset. That is not your problem to fix. You do not have unlimited lifelines. And the people who truly matter will understand that. The people who respect you will not guilt you for protecting your time. The people who value you will not demand access they have not earned. So here's your assignment for this chapter. Right now, today, make your list. Write down the 3 to 5 people who get emergency access to your time. Then write down your untouchable hours, the time blocks that are off limits unless it is a true crisis from someone on that list. And then write down your automatic numbers, the requests that you will refuse by default, last-minute favors, unpaid consulting, rides for acquaintances, whatever drains your lifelines without giving you anything in return. Decide once, follow always. And then, when the next request comes, do not debate, do not overthink, just refer back to your rules. If it does not fit, you say no. If it is not from someone on your list, you say no. If it is during your untouchable hours, you say no. The decision is already made. You are just honoring it. Because you do not have unlimited lifelines. You have 3, maybe 4. And you need to save them for the moments and the people that truly matter. Everything else, everyone else, they can figure it out on their own. Your time is not charity. Your energy is not endless. Your life is not a resource for people who did not plan their own. Protect your lifelines. Guard them fiercely. Use them wisely. Because once they are gone, and you cannot earn them back. You do not have unlimited lifelines, so stop acting like you do. Chapter 5. The Hollow Pattern. Let me show you something you have probably noticed but never put into words. There is a pattern to the people who call you selfish. There is a pattern to the people who guilt you, who push you, who demand your time and then act offended when you protect it. And once you see this pattern, you will never unsee it. These people are hollow. They are empty. Empty of direction, empty of purpose, empty of their own time, their own value, their own energy. They have nothing real going on in their own life, no goals they are chasing, no discipline they are building, no vision they are working toward. They are drifting, scattered, reactive. And because they are hollow, because they have nothing of substance filling their own days, they reach for a piece of yours. Hollow people grab at full ones. Think about it. The people who respect your boundaries, who are they? They are busy, they are focused, they are building something. They have their own goals, their own responsibilities, their own full lives. They do not have time to guilt you because they barely have time for themselves. When you say no to these people, they say, no problem, and they move on. Because they get it. They understand that everyone has limits. They respect your time because they respect their own. But the people who push, the people who guilt, the people who call you selfish when you set a boundary, look closer. What do they actually have going on? What are they building? What are they protecting in their own life? Most of the time, the answer is nothing. They are not busy with anything meaningful. They are not disciplined. They are not protecting their own time because they do not value it. And because they do not value their own time, they do not value yours either. Hollow people grab at full ones. They see you moving, they see you building, they see you with direction, with energy, with something real happening in your life, and they want a piece of it. Not to support you, not to celebrate you, to take from you, to pull you into their chaos, to fill their emptiness with your fullness. And when you refuse, when you say no, when you protect what you have built, they lose their minds. Because you just cut off their supply. You just closed the door they were used to walking through whenever they wanted. And now they have to face their own emptiness, and that terrifies them. So they call you selfish, they guilt you, they manipulate you, they try to pull you back in, not because you did anything wrong, but because you stopped letting them take. Now here is what you need to prepare for. The moment you start saying no, the moment you start protecting your time and energy, you are going to face backlash. It is coming, it is inevitable, and if you are not ready for it, it will break you. It will make you doubt yourself. It will make you think you made a mistake. It will pull you right back into the same pattern you are trying to escape. So let me prepare you right now. Here is what the backlash looks like. Guilt trips. They will remind you of every small thing they ever did for you. They will make you feel like you owe them. They will say things like, after everything I've done for you, or I thought we were closer than this, or I would never do this to you. Anger. They will get mad. They will raise their voice. They will act like you have personally attacked them by saying no. They will make your boundary about them, about how you have hurt them, about how you have changed. Cold shoulders. They will go silent. They will stop reaching out. They will make you feel the absence of their attention, hoping you will panic and come crawling back, apologizing, trying to fix it. Manipulation. They will twist your words. They will play the victim. They will tell other people that you are selfish, that you have changed, that you are not the person you used to be. They will try to turn people against you. This is the backlash, and it is going to feel terrible. You are going to feel guilt. You are going to feel fear. You are going to wonder if maybe you are being too harsh, too cold, too selfish. But here is what you need to understand. The backlash is not proof that you were wrong. The backlash is proof that the boundary was needed. Backlash means it is working. Read that again. Backlash means it is working. If they were fine with your boundary, it means the boundary was not really protecting anything. But if they are upset, if they are pushing back, if they are guilting and manipulating and trying to pull you back in, it means you just cut off something they were used to taking. It means the boundary is real. It means it is doing its job. So when the backlash comes, do not retreat. Do not apologize. Do not try to make them feel better. Just hold your ground, because their discomfort is not your responsibility. Their anger is not your problem. Their guilt trip is not your truth. Backlash means it is working. Now let me tell you exactly how to handle it, because this is where most people fail. They set the boundary, the backlash comes, and they fold. They explain, they apologize, they try to negotiate, they turn their firm no into a soft maybe. And the moment they do that, the boundary is gone. The other person learns that if they just push hard enough, you will break, and the cycle continues. You cannot do that. You cannot negotiate. You cannot defend. You cannot turn your boundary into a debate. When they push, you repeat. Same words, same tone, calm, clear, final. A calm wall, not a negotiation. Here is what that looks like in real life. Let's say you have set a boundary with a friend. You are no longer available for last-minute plans. You need advance notice. You have told them this clearly, and then, this weekend, they text you an hour before they want to hang out. You say no, and they push. Come on, it is just for a little bit. You repeat, I need advance notice. I am not available. You are always busy now. You have changed. You repeat, I need advance notice. That is not going to change. Wow, I guess I know where I stand. You do not take the bait. You do not explain. You do not apologize. You just let it sit, because that guilt trip is not yours to carry. You set a clear boundary. You communicated it. You held it. That is all you are responsible for. How they feel about it is their problem. A calm wall, not a negotiation. Notice what you did not do. You did not argue. You did not try to convince them that your boundary is valid. You did not get pulled into their emotional reaction. You just repeated your boundary, calmly, clearly, like a wall. Walls do not negotiate. Walls do not explain themselves. Walls just stand, and that is what you are becoming. Now here is the part that most people are afraid of. When you hold your boundary like this, when you refuse to fold under the pressure, one of two things will happen. Either they will adjust, or they will leave. And here is what you need to understand. Either way, you win. If they adjust, if they start respecting your boundary, if they stop pushing and start asking in advance, then you just upgraded the relationship. You just trained them to treat you with respect. The relationship gets better because it is now built on honesty and mutual respect instead of guilt and manipulation. But if they leave, if they walk away because you would not let them take any more, then you just cut dead weight. You just freed yourself from someone who was only around because you were useful. Someone who did not actually value you. They valued what they could get from you. And losing that person is not a loss. It is liberation. Either they adjust or they leave. Either way, you win. But you have to be willing to let them leave. That is the hard part. You have to be willing to lose people who will not respect your boundaries. Because if you are not willing to lose them, then you do not really have a boundary. You have a suggestion. You have a wish. You have a hope that maybe they will be nice enough to respect you. But you do not have a boundary. A boundary without consequences is just a request, and requests can be ignored. So when the backlash comes, when they guilt you, when they push you, when they try to manipulate you back into being their time and energy supply, you have to be willing to stand firm. You have to be willing to let the relationship end if that is what it takes to keep your self-respect. A calm wall, not a negotiation. Now let me tell you what happens on the other side of this. When you hold your ground, when you do not fold under the backlash, something inside you shifts. You realize you can survive their anger. You realize you can handle their guilt trips. You realize their opinion of you does not control your life. And that realization is freedom. Because for years, you have been controlled by fear. Fear of disappointing people, fear of conflict, fear of being called selfish, fear of being alone. And that fear has kept you trapped in a cycle of saying yes when you meant no, of giving when you had nothing left, of betraying yourself to keep the peace. But when you face the backlash and hold your ground anyway, that fear loses its power. You prove to yourself that you can handle it. You prove to yourself that you are stronger than their manipulation. You prove to yourself that your self-respect is worth more than their approval. And once you know that, once you feel that strength inside you, everything changes. You stop fearing the backlash. You start expecting it. You start seeing it as confirmation that you are doing the right thing. Backlash means it is working. So here is your assignment for this chapter. Identify the hollow people in your life, the people who have nothing real going on but always have time to demand something from you, the people who push your boundaries, who guilt you, who only show up when they need something. Write their names down. Not to hate them, not to cut them off dramatically, but to see the pattern clearly. And then, the next time one of them pushes, the next time one of them tries to guilt you or manipulate you or pull you back into their chaos, practice being a calm wall. Do not argue, do not explain, just repeat your boundary. Let them be upset, let them be angry, let them walk away if that is what they choose. Because hollow people grab at full ones, and you are done being grabbed. You are done being drained. You are done sacrificing your fullness to fill someone else's emptiness. Hold your ground. Expect the backlash. And remember, backlash means it is working. A calm wall, not a negotiation. Either they adjust or they leave. Either way, you win. Chapter 6. Cut time leeches. There are people in your life right now who are draining you. Not dramatically, not obviously, not in ways you can point to and say, that person is destroying me. No, they are doing it quietly, slowly, a little bit at a time. 10 minutes here, 20 minutes there, an hour on the weekend, a phone call that goes nowhere, a meeting that accomplishes nothing, a favor that benefits them and costs you. These are your time leeches, and they are bleeding you dry. A leech does not kill you in one bite. It just attaches. It just takes. A little bit of your blood, a little bit of your energy, and if you do not notice it, if you do not pull it off, it will drain you until you have nothing left. Time leeches work the same way. They do not ask for everything at once. They just take small pieces, and you let them, because each piece feels small. Each request feels manageable. Each yes feels harmless. But add it up. Add up every small yes you gave this month. Add up every 10-minute conversation that turned into 40. Add up every favor that took an hour you did not have. Add up every meeting that should have been an email. Add up every scroll, every notification, every interruption that pulled you away from what actually mattered. How much of your life did you give away? 20 hours? 30? 50? Those hours are gone, forever. And what did you get in return? Nothing. No progress, no growth, no rest, no peace. Just exhaustion and the feeling that you are always busy but never getting anywhere. That is what time leeches do. They take your hours and give you nothing. Does this deserve my life? That is the question you need to ask every single time someone or something asks for your time. Not, can I do this? Not, do I have time for this? Not, will they be mad if I say no? The only question that matters is this: does this deserve my life? Because that is what you are giving. Not minutes, not effort, not inconvenience. You are giving pieces of your actual life, pieces you will never get back. And most of the things you are saying yes to do not pass that test. Most requests do not deserve your life. Most people have not earned access to your hours. Most interruptions are not worth the cost. So let me help you identify the leeches. Let me show you exactly where your life is leaking so you can stop the bleeding. First, useless meetings. Meetings with no agenda. Meetings that could have been an email. Meetings where half the people are not paying attention and the other half are repeating what was already said. Meetings that accomplish nothing except eating an hour of your day. If you are in a meeting right now that has no clear purpose, no clear outcome, no clear reason for you to be there, you are being leeched. Does this deserve my life? No. So stop going. Stop accepting every meeting invite. Stop assuming that just because someone scheduled it, you are required to attend. Ask for an agenda. Ask what your role is. Ask what decisions will be made. And if they cannot give you a clear answer, decline. Protect your time like it actually matters. Second, endless conversations. The co-worker who stops by your desk to chat about nothing. The friend who calls to vent for an hour but never actually wants advice. The relative who traps you on the phone repeating the same complaints you have heard 100 times. These conversations are not connection. They are drainage. They take your time, your focus, your energy, and they give you nothing but a headache and the feeling that you just wasted an hour of your life.
Does this deserve my life? No. So cut them short. Set a timer. Say, I have 5 minutes. Say, I need to get back to work. Say, I cannot talk right now. Stop being polite while your life is being drained, because these people are not being polite to you. They are using you as their emotional dumping ground, and they do not care that you have things to do. They care about themselves, so you need to care about yourself more. Third, social media scrolls. You pick up your phone to check one thing. 30 minutes later, you are still scrolling. You are not learning anything. You are not connecting with anyone. You are not resting. You are just feeding the algorithm and draining your attention. Every scroll is a small leak. Every notification is a small interruption. Every time you pick up your phone without intention, you are letting a leech attach. Does this deserve my life? No. So set rules. No phone in the first hour of the day. No social media during work hours. No scrolling after 9 p.m. Decide in advance when you will check and when you will not, because if you leave it up to impulse, the leech will drain you all day long.
Fourth, open-ended favors. The person who asks, "Can you help me with something?" but does not tell you what it is or how long it will take. The person who says, "I just need a quick favor," and then it turns into 3 hours. The person who treats your time like it is unlimited, and their poor planning like it is your emergency. These people have not earned your help. They have not respected your time. They are just reaching for a piece of your life and hoping you will say yes before you realize what you are agreeing to. Does this deserve my life? No. So stop saying yes to vague requests. Ask questions. What exactly do you need? How long will this take? When do you need it by? And if their answers are unclear, if they are evasive, if they are trying to trap you into a yes before you know what you are agreeing to, say no. Say, I need more details before I can commit. And if they push, if they guilt, if they act like asking questions makes you selfish, that is your confirmation. They are a leech. Cut them off. Fifth, automatic yeses to invitations. Every party, every gathering, every event you are invited to, you say yes because you feel obligated. You say yes because you do not want to seem antisocial. You say yes because everyone else is going. But you do not actually want to go. You do not actually care. You are just filling your calendar with things that drain you, so you can avoid disappointing people you barely like. Does this deserve my life? No. So stop auto-accepting. Stop assuming that just because you were invited, you are required to attend. Start asking yourself, do I actually want to go? Will this add value to my life? Or will I spend the whole time wishing I was home, and then spend the next day recovering from something I never wanted to do in the first place? If it is not on your terms, it is not your yes. That is the rule. If it is not on your terms, your schedule, your priorities, your energy level, your choice, then it is not your yes. It is someone else's agenda that you are letting control your life. And every time you say yes to someone else's terms, you say no to your own. So here is what you do. You schedule your priorities first, not other people's requests, not meetings, not favors. Your priorities, your deep work, your rest, your health, your family time, your goals. You put those on your calendar first. You block them out. You protect them. And then, only then, do you look at what is left and decide if you have space for anything else. Most of the time, you will not. Most of the time, your calendar will already be full with things that actually matter. And when the requests come, when the leeches reach for your time, you can honestly say, I am not available. Because you are not. You are busy. Busy with your actual life. Busy with things you chose. Busy with what matters. If it is not on your terms, it is not your yes. Now here is the part most people miss. When you start cutting the leeches, when you start saying no to the meetings and the conversations and the scrolls and the favors and the invitations, you will suddenly have something you have not had in years. Space, margin, time that belongs to you. And that space is not empty. That space is where your actual life happens. That space is where you think, where you rest,
where you create, where you connect with the people who actually matter, where you build the things you have been putting off because you have been too busy serving everyone else's agenda. Small numbers create big space. Every number you say creates space. Space in your calendar, space in your mind, space in your energy. And that space compounds. 10 small no's this week create 5 hours of space. 5 hours you can use to sleep, to work on your goals, to be present with your family, to do nothing and actually rest. Small numbers create big space, and that space is where you will find your clarity, your peace, your progress, your life. So here is your assignment for this chapter. Go through your last week. Look at your calendar. Look at where your time actually went. And identify every time leech, every meeting that wasted your time, every conversation that drained you, every scroll that stole your focus, every favor that cost you more than it should have, every invitation you accepted out of obligation instead of desire. Write them down. See the pattern. See how much of your life you have been giving to things that do not deserve it. And then, starting today, start cutting. One leech at a time. One meeting declined. One conversation cut short. One phone rule enforced. One favor refused. One invitation turned down.
Does this deserve my life? If the answer is no, cut it. Without guilt, without explanation, without apology. Just cut it and reclaim that space for yourself. Because time leeches do not ask permission. They just attach and drain. And they will keep draining you until you pull them off. So pull them off. Cut them out. Protect your hours like the non-renewable resource they are. Does this deserve my life? Ask it every time. And when the answer is no, say no. Firmly, clearly, finally. Small no's create big space. And that space is where your real life is waiting. The life you have been too drained, too busy, too stretched to actually live. Cut the leeches. Reclaim your time. Build the space you need to breathe. If it is not on your terms, it is not your yes. And from now on, your terms are the only ones that matter.
Chapter 7. Protect your inner world. You have learned to say no with your calendar. Now you need to learn to say no with your mind. Because it is not just your time that is being drained. It is your attention, your focus, your mental energy, your inner peace. And while people are taking hours from your schedule, you are giving away even more to things that never even ask permission. You are letting them into your head, and once they are in there, they do not leave. They loop. They repeat. They steal your clarity and replace it with noise. Not everything deserves a place in your head. Let me show you what I mean. Someone says something that bothers you. Maybe it was rude. Maybe it was unfair. Maybe it was just thoughtless. And now, hours later, you are still thinking about it. You are replaying the conversation. You are imagining what you should have said. You are building a case in your mind. You are drafting the perfect response. You are letting that one comment take up space in your head, rent-free. Meanwhile, that person has moved on. They are not thinking about you. They are not replaying the conversation. They said what they said and forgot about it 5 minutes later. But you are still there, still stuck, still giving them your attention, your energy, your peace. And they did not even have to ask for it. You just handed it over. Not everything deserves a place in your head. Or maybe it is not a person. Maybe it is the news, the outrage, the crisis of the day. You open your phone and suddenly you are pulled into something happening on the other side of the world. Something you cannot control. Something you cannot fix. Something that has nothing to do with your actual life. But now it is in your head. And it is taking up space. It is stealing your focus. It is filling you with anxiety about things that will never touch you. Or maybe it is gossip. Someone tells you about someone else's drama. You were not involved. It does not affect you. But now you know. And now you are thinking about it. And now it is occupying mental real estate that could have been used for literally anything else. Or maybe it is doom scrolling. You are lying in bed. You should be sleeping, but instead, you are refreshing, scrolling, clicking, feeding your brain an endless stream of garbage it does not need. And tomorrow, you will wake up exhausted, not because you did not have time to sleep, but because you gave your mental energy to a screen instead of rest. Not everything deserves a place in your head. Here is what you need to understand. Your attention is not unlimited. Your mental energy is not infinite. Your inner world has boundaries just like your calendar does. And if you do not protect those boundaries, if you let everything in, if you react to every comment and every outrage and every piece of drama that crosses your path, you will have no mental space left for what actually matters. Your attention is your most valuable boundary, more valuable than your time, more valuable than your money, because your attention is where you actually live. You can be sitting in a room with your family, but if your attention is on your phone, you are not really there. You can be working on something important, but if your attention is scattered across 12 tabs and 3 conversations and yesterday's argument, you are not really working. You can have a completely free evening, but if your attention is stuck replaying something that happened last week, you are not really free. Your attention is your life, and right now, you are giving it away to things that do not deserve it. So let me teach you how to say no with your mind, how to protect your inner world the same way you protect your time, how to build the kind of mental discipline that keeps you clear, calm, and in control, even when the world around you is chaos. First, stop attending every argument. This is the most important skill you will ever build. Someone says something you disagree with. Someone challenges you. Someone tries to pull you into a debate, and your first instinct is to engage, to defend, to correct, to prove them wrong. But stop. Ask yourself one question. Does this argument deserve my energy? Most of the time, the answer is no. Most arguments are not about truth. They are about ego. They are not trying to learn. They are trying to win. And when you engage, when you step into that fight, you are not educating anyone. You are just draining yourself. You do not have to attend every argument you are invited to.
Read that again. You do not have to attend every argument you are invited to. Someone can say something wrong, and you can just let it be wrong. Someone can have a terrible opinion, and you can let them keep it. Someone can try to bait you, and you can just not take the bait. That is not weakness. That is discipline. That is you deciding that your mental energy is more valuable than proving a point to someone who will not listen anyway. So practice silence. Practice the pause. Someone says something that irritates you. Instead of responding immediately, pause. Count to 3. Ask yourself, does this deserve my energy? Will engaging with this improve my life in any way? Or will it just drain me and leave me frustrated? If the answer is no, let it go. Do not respond. Do not engage. Do not give it space in your head. Just let it pass like a cloud. It came, you saw it, you let it go. Done. You do not have to attend every argument you are invited to. Second, refuse to be pulled into other people's emotional storms. This is harder than it sounds, because when someone you care about is upset, your instinct is to join them, to match their energy, to get upset with them, to dive into their chaos and try to fix it. But here is the truth. You cannot calm a storm by becoming part of it. You cannot help someone who is drowning by drowning with them. The only way to actually help is to stay calm, to stay grounded, to be the stable point they can hold on to. That is quiet discipline. Not reacting, not matching their energy, not letting their panic become your panic. Just staying calm, staying clear, and offering presence instead of chaos. Let me give you an example. Someone calls you, frantic. Everything is falling apart. They are spiraling. They want you to spiral with them. Old you would match their energy. You would get worked up. You would start problem solving in panic mode. You would let their emergency become your emergency. And an hour later, you would be drained, they would still be upset, and nothing would actually be solved. New you does not do that. New you listens, but you do not absorb. You stay calm.
You acknowledge what they are feeling without taking it on. You ask questions instead of panicking. You offer perspective instead of joining the spiral. And when the conversation is over, you let it go. You do not carry their storm around with you for the rest of the day. You do not have to attend every argument you are invited to, and you do not have to attend every emotional storm either. Third, say no to mental replays. This is the silent killer of mental peace. Something happened. It is over. It is done. But you keep replaying it. You keep going back to it. You keep reliving the moment, re-feeling the anger, redrafting what you should have said. You are stuck in a loop, and that loop is stealing your present. Stop. Catch yourself. The moment you notice you are replaying something, say it out loud. This does not deserve more of my energy. And then redirect. Physically. Do something else. Move your body. Change your environment. Focus on something in front of you. Break the loop before it takes over your entire day. Not everything deserves a place in your head. And something that already happened definitely does not deserve to keep happening in your mind over and over again. Fourth, cut the doom scroll. You know exactly what I am talking about. You open your phone with no intention. You start scrolling. Bad news, outrage, drama, arguments in the comments. None of it has anything to do with you. None of it improves your life. But you keep scrolling. You keep feeding your brain poison and wondering why you feel anxious, distracted, and drained. This is a choice. Every single time you pick up that phone, you are choosing what gets access to your inner world. And right now, you are choosing chaos. You are choosing outrage. You are choosing to fill your head with problems you cannot solve and drama you were never part of. Stop. Decide right now. Your inner world is off limits to that garbage. No news first thing in the morning. No social media before bed. No mindless scrolling when you are bored. If you are going to give your attention to something, make it intentional. Make it worth it. Your attention is your most valuable boundary. Guard it like your life depends on it. Because it does. Fifth, protect your focus. You are working on something important, and then a notification pops up. You check it. Then you check another app. Then you remember something you needed to look up. Then you see a message. And now, 20 minutes later, you have forgotten what you were even working on. Your focus is shattered. Your momentum is gone. And you are starting over from zero. Every interruption costs you. Not just the 2 minutes you spent checking your phone, but the 10 minutes it takes to get back into deep focus. Every time you break your attention, you are paying a tax. And most of the things you are breaking your focus for are not worth that cost. So protect your focus like it is sacred. Turn off notifications, close the tabs, put the phone in another room. Create a space where your attention can actually live on one thing for more than 5 minutes. Because that focus, that depth, that is where your real work happens. That is where your clarity comes from. That is where your peace lives. Your attention is your most valuable boundary. Now let me tie this all together. Saying no is not just about protecting your time. It is about protecting your mind. It is about building the discipline to control what gets into your head and what you let go. It is about choosing silence over reaction. It is about refusing to be pulled into chaos. It is about guarding your inner world with the same fierceness you guard your calendar. This is emotional control. Not pretending you do not feel things, but not letting every feeling control you. This is mental toughness. Not being hard, but being unshakable. Not moved by every comment, every outrage, every storm. This is quiet discipline. Not loud, not dramatic, just calm, consistent refusal to let your inner world become a dumping ground for everyone else's chaos. Not everything deserves a place in your head. You do not have to attend every argument. Your attention is your most valuable boundary. So here is your assignment. For the next week, practice internal no's. When someone tries to pull you into an argument, pause and let it go. When you catch yourself replaying something, stop and redirect. When you feel the urge to scroll, put the phone down and do something intentional. When someone's chaos tries to become your chaos, stay calm and refuse to join. Protect your inner world. Guard your attention. Say no to the noise. Because your mind is not a public space. It is yours. And it is time you started treating it that way. Not everything deserves a place in your head. You do not have to attend every argument you are invited to. Your attention is your most valuable boundary. Protect it. Fiercely. Quietly. Relentlessly.
Chapter 8. Build a no identity. You have learnt the skills. You know how to say no. You know how to protect your time. You know how to cut the leeches. You know how to guard your inner world. But here is the problem. If you treat all of this like a technique, like something you do when you remember, like a strategy you apply when you are feeling strong, it will not last. You will slip. You will fold. You will go right back to the same patterns the moment the pressure hits. So this final chapter is not about what to do. It is about who to become. Because saying no is not just a skill, it is an identity. And if you want this to stick, if you want this to become automatic, if you want to stop fighting the same battles over and over again, you need to stop being someone who is trying boundaries and become someone who simply has them. You are what you consistently allow. Read that again. You are what you consistently allow. Not what you intend, not what you wish, not what you say you value. You are defined by what you actually allow into your life, day after day, choice after choice. If you allow people to disrespect your time, you are someone whose time does not matter. If you allow people to guilt you into saying yes, you are someone who can be manipulated. If you allow interruptions to shatter your focus, you are someone who does not protect their inner world. You are what you consistently allow. And right now, if you are honest with yourself, you have been allowing way too much. But here is the good news. Identity is not fixed. Identity is built. One choice at a time, one no at a time. One boundary held, one time leech cut, one argument you refuse to attend. Every single time you say no when you used to say yes, you are not just protecting your time, you are building a new identity. You are becoming someone different, someone stronger, someone whose life is actually their own. You are what you consistently allow, so stop allowing what you do not respect. Here is what most people do not understand about identity. They think identity is something you discover, like it is hidden inside you somewhere and you just need to find it. But that is not how it works. Identity is not discovered, it is built. Through repetition, through consistency, through doing the same thing over and over until it becomes who you are. You do not find your identity, you forge it. Let me show you what I mean. Right now, you probably see yourself as someone who struggles with boundaries, someone who has a hard time saying no, someone who is working on it, trying to get better, hoping to improve. That is your current identity. And as long as that is your identity, you will struggle. Because struggling is part of the story you are telling yourself about who you are. But what if you change the story? What if, instead of, I am someone who struggles with boundaries, you said, I am someone who protects my time? What if, instead of, I am trying to say no more, you said, I am someone whose no is automatic? What if, instead of, I am working on this, you said, this is who I am now? This is who I am now. That is the identity shift. That is the line that changes everything. Not, I am trying to be this. Not, I want to be this. Not, someday I will be this. No, this is who I am now. Present tense, decided, done. And when you claim that identity, when you step into it fully, your behavior follows. Because you do not act and then become. You decide who you are, and then you act in alignment with that decision. You do not say no 100 times and then become someone with boundaries. You decide you are someone with boundaries, and then saying no becomes automatic, because that is what someone with boundaries does. This is who I am now. So let me ask you, who are you now? Not who you were, not who you are trying to be. Who are you right now in this moment after everything you have learned in this audiobook? Here is who I need you to be. I need you to be someone whose yes means something, someone whose time is not free, someone whose energy is protected, someone whose attention is guarded,
someone who does not fold under guilt, someone who does not explain their boundaries, someone who does not attend every argument, someone whose no is calm, clear, and final. That is your new identity, and starting right now, every choice you make either confirms that identity or contradicts it. You are what you consistently allow, so allow only what aligns with who you have decided to be. Now, here is what happens when you build this identity. When you become someone whose no is unshakable, something incredible happens to your yes. Your yes becomes powerful. It becomes rare. It becomes meaningful. Because when you say yes, people know you actually mean it. They know you are not saying yes out of guilt or obligation or fear. They know you chose it, and that makes your yes worth something. Every no strengthens your real yes. Think about it. Right now, your yes does not mean much. You say yes to everything. You say yes to avoid conflict. You say yes because you feel obligated. You say yes because you do not know how to say no. So when you say yes, people do not value it. They expect it. They take it for granted. Your yes is cheap because you give it away for free to anyone who asks. But when you start saying no, when you start protecting your time and your energy, when you start being selective about where your yes goes, everything changes. Now your yes is rare. Now your yes is earned. Now when you say yes, it actually means something. Every no strengthens your real yes. When you say no to the time leeches, you have more energy for the people who actually matter. When you say no to useless meetings, you have more focus for the work that moves your life forward. When you say no to distractions, you have more presence for your family. When you say no to drama, you have more peace for yourself. Your no creates the space for your yes to actually mean something. And here is the beautiful part. The people who truly matter, the people who respect you, the people who value you, they will notice. They will notice that when you say yes to them, you are fully there. You are not distracted. You are not resentful. You are not half present while wishing you were somewhere else. You are fully engaged because you actually chose to be there. And that presence, that full attention, that is the greatest gift you can give anyone. Every no strengthens your real yes. So when you say no, you are not taking something away. You are protecting something far more valuable. You are protecting the quality of your yes. You are making sure that when you do give your time, your energy, your attention, it actually counts. Now let me talk about consistency, because this is where most people fail. They have a good week. They say no a few times. They feel strong. They feel proud. And then the pressure comes. Someone guilts them. Someone pushes. Someone calls them selfish. And they fold. They say yes. They break the boundary. And all the progress they made disappears. Why? Because they were relying on willpower. They were relying on motivation. They were relying on feeling strong. And feelings change. Motivation fades. Willpower runs out. But identity does not fade. Identity is not a feeling. Identity is a decision that you make once and then reinforce every single day through your actions. This is who I am now. Not when I feel strong. Not when it is easy. Not when people are nice about it. Always. In every situation. With every person. This is who I am now. That is consistency. That is discipline. That is the difference between trying boundaries and having them. You are what you consistently allow. So be consistent. Every time. No exceptions. Because every exception weakens your identity. Every time you fold, you are telling yourself, I am not really that person. I am still someone who can be pushed. And the next time, it will be even harder to hold your ground. But every time you hold the line, every time you say no when the pressure is on, every time you stay calm when they are guilting you, you are reinforcing your identity. You are proving to yourself that this is who you are now. And the next time, it will be a little bit easier. You are what you consistently allow, so be ruthlessly consistent. Now let me give you the final piece. This new identity, this person you are becoming, it is not cold. It is not selfish. It is not harsh. It is actually the most respectful version of you that has ever existed. Because for the first time in your life, you are being honest. You are not saying yes when you mean no. You are not pretending to be available when you are not. You are not lying to avoid conflict.
You are just telling the truth. And the truth is, you have limits. You have priorities. You have a life that matters. And protecting that life is not selfish. It is self-respect. And self-respect is the foundation of every healthy relationship, every meaningful goal, every moment of peace you will ever experience. When you respect yourself enough to say no, you teach other people how to respect you. When you protect your boundaries, you show people what you value. When you are honest about your limits, you build trust instead of resentment. This is who I am now. Someone who respects themselves enough to protect what matters. So here is your final assignment. Right now, today, I want you to make a declaration. Not in your head, out loud. Say it. I am someone who protects my time. I am someone whose no is unshakable. I am someone whose yes means something. This is who I am now. Say it like you mean it. Say it until you believe it. Say it until it becomes the truth. And then, starting today, live it. Every single choice, every single request, every single moment someone tries to take what you have decided to protect. You refer back to your identity. You ask yourself, what would someone who protects their time do right now? And then you do that. Not because it is easy, not because it feels good, but because this is who you are now. You are what you consistently allow. Every no strengthens your real yes. This is who I am now. Those 3 statements are your new operating system. They are the lens through which you see every decision. They are the foundation of the life you are about to build. You are no longer someone who is trying to set boundaries. You are someone who has them. You are no longer someone who struggles to say no. You are someone whose no is automatic. You are no longer someone whose yes is cheap and scattered. You are someone whose yes is rare, valuable, and fully present. This is who you are now. And from this moment forward, every time you say no, you are not just protecting your time, you are confirming your identity. You are proving to yourself and everyone around you that you are exactly who you said you are. Someone who values their life enough to protect it. Someone who respects themselves enough to set boundaries. Someone whose word, both yes and no, actually means something. You are what you consistently allow. So starting today, allow only what serves the person you have decided to become. Cut everything else, without guilt, without apology, without hesitation. Every no strengthens your real yes. So say no to everything that does not deserve your life. And watch how your real yes, the one that goes to the people and the goals and the moments that truly matter, becomes the most powerful gift you have ever given. This is who I am now. Not someday, not when it gets easier, not when people stop pushing. Now. Today. In this moment and every moment after. You are someone who protects their time, their energy, and their self-respect. You are someone whose no is unshakable and whose yes is priceless. You are someone who has finally learned that the most important person you will ever say yes to is yourself. You have heard the same message from 8 different angles, and now there is no confusion left. Your life is not being destroyed by one big mistake. It is being drained by 1,000 small yeses you never really meant. Every yes is a trade, and for too long you have been making terrible deals, trading your life for other people's comfort, your peace for their approval, your future for their poor planning. But that ends now. You now understand that money returns, but time never does. That hour someone wasted yesterday is gone forever. You will never live it again. So when the next request comes, ask yourself the only question that matters. Does this deserve my life? If the answer is no, say no. Without explanation, without guilt, without a paragraph of reasons that turns your boundary into a debate. You now know the truth about the selfish accusation. When someone calls you selfish for protecting what is yours, they are the ones with the agenda. They wanted something. You just refused. A $10 gift does not buy a $100 return.
You do not owe anyone access to your life just because they were kind to you once. Stop letting people guilt you with small investments and act like you owe them everything. You now know that no is a complete sentence. Explain less, decide more. Say it once and mean it forever. Short is strong, long is weak. The more you explain, the weaker you feel. Stop defending your boundaries and start simply holding them. You now understand that you do not have unlimited lifelines. Decide once, follow always. Pre-decide who gets emergency access. Pre-decide your untouchable hours. Pre-decide your automatic no's. Your time is not charity. Save your lifelines for the people and moments that truly matter. You now recognize the hollow pattern. Hollow people grab at full ones. When you set boundaries, expect the backlash. Expect the guilt trips, the anger, the manipulation. But remember, backlash means it is working. Be a calm wall, not a negotiation. Either they adjust or they leave. Either way, you win. You now know how to cut the time leeches. Does this deserve my life? If it is not on your terms, it is not your yes. Small no's create big space. Schedule your priorities first and protect them ruthlessly. You now know how to protect your inner world. Not everything deserves a place in your head. You do not have to attend every argument you are invited to. Your attention is your most valuable boundary. Guard it like your life depends on it, because it does. And you now know the final truth. You are what you consistently allow. This is who you are now. Not someone trying boundaries, someone who has them. Every no strengthens your real yes. You are building an identity, one choice at a time. So here is your challenge. Right now. Today. Not tomorrow, not next week. Today. Choose one place where you will say no. One meeting you will decline. One conversation you will cut short. One request you will refuse. One scroll you will stop. One person you will stop explaining yourself to. One boundary you will hold even when they push. Just one. Do it today. And then do it again tomorrow. And the day after that. Because you are not trying to change. You have already changed. You are someone who protects their time, their energy, and their self-respect. This is who you are now. Prove it.